I will be doing a brief review on the German Tier-ton heavy tank, the E-100. The E-100 is a super heavy tank, which means it has all of the super heavy characteristics when it comes to the super heavy characteristic traits. Being so, have good armor, a lot of hit points, the gun to match, but unfortunately, it is not that fast of a vehicle. So it will take you a while for you to get from location A to B, unless if you're going in a straight line. Being a heavy tank to a super heavy tank with the size of the vehicle, expect it to be a enemy artillery magnet. If you are in a location on the map where artillery can hit you easily enough. My faults with the E-100 is if you do not know what you are doing in the E-100, you can be killed easily enough. Especially if you cannot make use of the armor and the hit point, as most vehicles at this tier and below can penetrate your armor easily enough if they know where to shoot you at. If you know how to use the E-100 properly, playing toward its strengths and weaknesses, this is a good heavy tank to use, especially if you can make use of the firepower, the armor, and the hit points toward your advantage when you are facing up against them in a match. Let's get into the vehicle stats now. Let's begin off with the firepower. The firepower for either of the two guns that you are going to be using, for the 12.8 centimeter or the 15 centimeter, it is quite good. Choose which gun you want to use. I prefer the 15 centimeter gun as it is a howitzer. What is good about the howitzer? You have good pen and damage output per a single round if you can hit something. With the proper equipment and perk combination, you can have about 4 rounds per a minute for the howitzer here in theory, with a loading time of 15 seconds. The turret traverse, it is okay at 21. Gun depression, it is okay, 7 downwards, 20 up. The aiming time and the accuracy of the gun, it could be better, it could be worse. The survivability of the tank, it is good and it is bad. Hit points, you have a lot. 2,700 hit points. That means you have the second most amount of hit points in the game compared to the mods. When you use the armor and the hit points hand in hand together well enough, you can potentially receive a lot of damage blocked by the armor while surviving the match. The armor, this is where it is good and it is bad. You have some pretty big weak spots where people can penetrate you easily enough. They would be the lower plate, any pieces on the top of the tank here where the armor it is flat, top of the tank here, and the axis part here. Also the engine here, it can be damaged easily enough with a accurate enough of a shot by a enemy tank. I should point out, with a well-placed shot from the front or from the side, the modules and the crew members can be damaged easily enough, especially from a well-placed heat round through the axis port here, if you have the pen to do so. There is angling added to the front and the side armor. Well, if you angle it well enough to the left or to the right by a bit, you can increase the armor thickness by ricocheting the enemy rounds for the most part. Armor in the front, for the hull it is 200 millimeters. With the angling here, it is effectively 200 millimeters plus. while the lower plate it is thick still, with the angling added on top. Most guns can penetrate this part of the vehicle still when they have a high pen gun or choose to shoot their premium round into this part here. Turret armor in the front, it is 250 millimeters. Plus, when you add the angling on top, weak spots. If you have a very high accurate gun here, you can shoot this part here, as this is a bit of a weak spot. It is a tiny spot though. If you angle the turret armor well enough to the left or to the right, you will increase the armor thickness by a bit to increase the chance of ricochets. The gun mantlet here is where most of the armor it is going to be on the E-100 here, where you will find the maximum amount of armor on the vehicle here. Side armor, it is 120 millimeters, so you have effectively angled armor and space armor to add on top of it as well. Besides that, most vehicles can pen the side armor here easily enough if they have a high penning gun. Side armor, it is 120. Side turret armor, it is 150 with angling added on top of it as well. If you angle the side armor well enough, you can ricochet rounds easily enough. Just remember to angle the armor. Rear, it is 150 for both, which means for the most part they are flat for the most part, so people can penetrate you there easily enough. Mobility for a super heavy tank, it is actually mobile for a super heavy tank oddly enough, when you compare it to the other super heavy tanks in the game. Weighing about 132 tons, that means with the 1200 horsepower engine, you will have a decent horsepower to ton ratio to reach the vehicle top speed of 30 kilometers. Watch out for the engine fire at 15%. With the 9.1 horsepower to 1 ton, you can easily reach the 30-kilometer mark when you are on flat terrain going in a straight line or going downhill only. Reverse speed, it is okay at 15. Whole traverse speed, it is okay. It could be better, it could be worse at 23. Concealment, it is rubbish for a super heavy tank. The spotting for the E-100, it is not that bad. 410 meters. If you want to increase the view range to have roughly the maximum view range allowed in the game, it is a good idea to go with the coated optics and put it onto this tank here. Signal range, it is good at 750 meters, so you will stay in contact with your team for the most part. The E-100, when you are using it in the game, it is quite important that you know how to use the armor and the hit points to your advantage when you are angling it, if you want to survive the entire match, as if you are in the wrong place at the wrong time and do not know how to use this vehicle, you can be killed easily enough. Coming from the E-75 to the E-100, you can apply some of the angling lessons that you learned from the Tiger II or the E-75 into the E-100 here for the most part. But angling, it is important still if you want to increase the chance of ricochets while using the E-100. Research, there's nothing to research except for the top gun. You have two guns to use. The 12.8 centimeter gun, it have a better rate of fire, better pen when it comes to regular AP round only, while having worse HE and premium pen compared to the other gun. Both of these guns here can do a lot of damage in a match if you can make use of either or of them when you are playing towards their advantage. They have the same aiming time and accuracy still. The gun that I prefer to use is the 15 centimeter howitzer. It have howitzer stats, slow rate of fire, high damage per a minute with good pen. The thing that I like about the 15 centimeter gun here is the pen for all of these three ammo types. It is good. So based upon what you are shooting at, you can switch between these three ammo types when need be. Besides that, the primary ammo type you will be using to make sure you are going to be hitting something or you make sure you're going to be penning something. Use heat or HE. Now I will be covering the consumables, the ammunition layout, and the equipment that you are going to be using in the E-100. Let's begin off with the consumables. I would go with a first aid kit, repair kit, and a manual fire extinguisher. This vehicle carries a lot of ammo, 50 rounds. So, for the most part, you will never run out of ammo while you're using the howitzer here. When it comes to the ammo that I would be using, I would go with primarily a mix of AP and heat. AP can pen most targets easily enough if you know where to shoot at the enemy tank weak spot. Heat, I would only save this ammo type for a heavily armored target that I am going to be facing up against, or if I am going to pen something and want to make sure I'm going to be penning it, I would use heat. Heat will cost you 6,000 credits or 15 gold. HE fired out of the howitzer here can do a good amount of damage if it can pen the vehicle to do its maximum amount of damage. Besides that, HE, if it hits something, you will damage the enemy still. When you're firing it out of the howitzer here, the equipment that you are going with, it is up to you what you want to go with. I went with the super heavy spall liner to add more protection from ramming, explosion, and to decrease the chance of the crew members from getting injured. The large caliber tank gun rammer to decrease what is a slow loading time by 10%. The toolbox to get the repairs done faster by 25%. The other pieces of equipment that you can use if you want to is the vertical stabilizer, the vents to improve the crew and the tank performance by a bit, the enhanced gunning drive to decrease the aim time by a bit, coated optics to have a more of a permanent view range increase. Besides that, the rest of the equipment that you can mount on top of the E-100 here, it is not worth it as it doesn't improve the tank performance by much. This vehicle, as it is a tier 10 tank, you will be getting yourself into a tier 10 maximum match only. The way how you are going to be playing the E-100. This is a front-line heavy tank brawler, so it is important that you make use of the front-line brawler traits that the E-100 have here if you want to do quite well in a match with the E-100 here. To try to play the E-100 for anything else besides a front-line tank, you're not going to do that well in this vehicle then. The other roles that the E-100 can fill as a front line tank are as a support tank or as a flanking tank if the opportunity arises to do so. I have one replay that I will show you how well you can do in the E-100 when you are playing toward the vehicle's strengths and weaknesses. Let's go to that replay now. This replay, I will show you how well you can do in the E-100 when you are playing toward its strengths and weaknesses. I am not the best E-100 player, but there are other people that are better than me when they are using this vehicle in the game. The E-100, just like any super heavy vehicle of its class, it is important that you pick the front where you're going to, because it will take a bit of time for you to switch from one front of a side of the map to another in a hurry. Fortunately, the E-100, if you have a good crew in it, you can easily reach the 30-kilometer mark on flat terrain here. Let's speed this replay up a bit. The good thing that I like about the ammo for the E-100 Top Gun is that based upon what you are shooting at, you can switch between the three ammo types here. This IS-3A, I use the AP to take a good chunk of the hit points off of it as the round went into the lower plate there. That TVP, T50, and then the T57 on the hill there I need to worry about. Some unknown vehicle on the map there took a good chunk of my hit points off, 1/3 of it. I poke out a bit. I am angling my armor here. Angling, it is quite important in the E-100 if you want to ricochet rounds. Just from the T57 4 or 5 clip magazine, I ricocheted 3 of the rounds out of the 4 that I see. I poke out a bit. I took a good chunk of the hit points off of the IS-4 there while receiving some fire from the T57 there. The T57 did some damage to me, cracked me, but I ricocheted some of his rounds. The E-100, if you want to survive in a match with this tank, it is important to know where you are going, what vehicles you are facing up against, and knowing how to angle your armor. I didn't do much in this short time zone. AP failed to pen the T57. I switched to heat to see if I can pen the 57 side. No, I cannot due to his angling he have there. The second heat round finally finished the vehicle off. With the heat round loaded, I look for another target to kill, seeing the TVP there on the hill is going to be killed off soon. Seeing the Object 704 there is there to be finished off by me, and the RU there, I assist are you finishing the object off by letting him finish it off with a single hit. This replay, after this point, I didn't do that much. My team finished the rest of the enemy team off. This replay I did okay in. I did not that well, nor that bad in. For the one kill that I did about 3,600 damage, which is okay for the E-100 for the potential damage that you can do with this gun, while blocking a good amount of armor by using it effectively enough, by angling it when the enemy guns try to pen my armor. The damage that I blocked with my armor was about 2,400 damage. So if you know how to angle your armor well enough against the vehicle you're facing up against, you can ricochet a lot of rounds all day long as they are not shooting premium rounds into you, where they can pen you easily enough. Let's go to the garage now to do a brief recap on the E-100. Let's do a brief recap on the E-100. The E-100 for a super heavy tank, it is one of the better ones to use out of the others, as it is slightly better in certain areas than the other super heavies are in the game here. The E-100, it is quite important to play toward the vehicle's strengths and weaknesses if you want to do quite well in this vehicle. If you get yourself into the wrong place at the wrong time without backup, you can be killed easily enough. Be careful about that. The E-100, it is a pleasant and a enjoyable super heavy tank to play once you get used to the vehicle playstyle, strengths, and weaknesses. I hope that you learn a thing or two about the E-100 and how to use it properly. If you like this video, leave a like, a comment, and even follow my channel as well. Good luck on the battlefield, everyone.